Welcome to another transformative episode as we explore the art of mastering holiday pressures in a hyper connected world. The festive season is here, and it's a time of joy, celebration, and reflection. But let's face it, it can also be a time of overwhelming stress. In the digital world, we're constantly bombarded with notifications and advertisements. Finding the true essence of the holiday seasons can be a challenge, but fear not. This video is your beacon of hope in the holiday chaos. We're here to guide you through strategies that will help you not only survive, but thrive during this special season. Join us as we uncover the secrets to strike that perfect balance between holiday preparations and the digital world. Discover the wisdom shared by relatable stories, insights from our panelists, and practical tools that will empower you to embrace the holiday spirit with grace and poise. But that's not all. If you're hungry for more than just surviving the holidays, we invite you to become a member of the Diamond Club, which is located on www.totalmindsetshift.com. Here, you'll find the exclusive repository of resources, expert guidance, and tailored content that will help you master life's pressures and find true joy. And while you're obtaining your membership, don't forget to become a part of the community where individuals come together to support one another in this beautiful journey of life. So, are you ready to redefine the holiday joys? Are you ready to redefine what the holiday joys look like in our hyper-connected world? Click that subscribe button, soak in the wisdom, and let's embark on this incredible journey together. Welcome to the transformation. Gentlemen, did you know last year holiday retail sales reached approximately $960 billion? Also, this year there was supposed to be an estimated increase of 2.5% in holiday online sales. In conjunction with that, 57% of US buyers intend to shop online during the holidays, right? Most of those, well, I won't say most of those, about 18% or more will have social media messages and advertisement during, they'll have 18% more advertising and social media messages during the holiday season as opposed to any other time of the year. Also, 28% of buyers plan to use social media platforms to search for or buy holiday goods. And lastly, 68% of buyers turn to YouTube on their smartphones to decide what to buy. So my initial question, just based upon all of those statistics, how much does that, how much do you guys participate in that? Like, do you use the internet to shop? Do you turn to like social media, YouTube, whatever the case may be, to determine what you're going to buy and things of that nature? I'm just curious.
I do all the above. Well, not really YouTube. Well, sometimes afterwards and sometimes before. Like, if I'm buying like a an expensive piece of equipment, like a camera, I'll do a lot of research or something like that. Watch videos, but just normally during the holiday season, I tend to do most of my shopping on Amazon or something like that. The stores are too overcrowded for me. Um, I'd rather do something else with my time on Saturday than haggle with a bunch of people doing traffic. So I do use social media. Well, I don't really use social media. I'll see things on social media. I know, like on FaceTime, on Facebook, stuff will pop up all the time, suggestions and stuff. But those things don't really get my pull. I kind of got an idea about what I'm going to do for the holidays every year anyway. And I just choose to do more of mine just online just because it's of the ease.
Now, overall, I'm a pretty much an online shopper. I'm an impulse buyer. Hey, man, when you're watching those things and they say, but wait, you can get two for the price of one, I'm gonna call Dwayne and say we can go half. But but when it comes to holiday shopping, that's not my thing. I'm not a spender on these days. But like earlier this month, and I know one other person did the same thing because I had to go to the store because they sent me an email. Some of these candles were now $9.99 or whatever they were. So instead of doing it online, I went to the store, and that was the worst thing I could have done because I'm in the store. There's a million people in here. They're giving you a bag. They're trying to be nice, and all these scents and everything, and it's like sensory overload. So that's not my thing. But I was in there and spent a grip on smells, whether you burn them or you put them on. I spent a grip on them.
By that one other person, he talking about me because it's funny. Both our wives' birthday are a day next to each other, and so we just both ended up, I guess, got the same email and went and bought the same stuff. No, but yeah, I'm not gonna lie and say I don't shop online. Now I don't shop online for holidays. It's just so happen that my birthday, my wife's birthday, and my mom's birthday, my aunt's birthday, everybody's birthday is in the same season, right? But I don't really get into the fighting in the aisles for holiday gifts and stuff like that, or going online. And I don't know, even and I can always talk about, I don't do the holidays, but it's even before, I just never been the guy that went crazy to go broke for the holidays. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm a true retiree, so it ain't got nothing to do with the time of year. I mean, if I want something, I'm gonna get it. But I'm also that person. I'm a lazy shopper too. I don't want to walk around a bunch of people trying to find what I want and all that other stuff. I'm gonna go online and I'm gonna look for it and I'm gonna find it. Chances are I'm gonna research it first, especially if we're talking about a big purchase, like if I'm buying a house or a car or something. I am online. I am doing the research. I'm doing the comparisons. I'm doing all that stuff. But when it comes down to like, stuff I want from Amazon, listen, I'm so okay, transparency. Facebook be getting me. I'm just saying, Facebook, I don't, you guys know what I'm talking about. It hears what you say. And then next thing you know, you're going on Facebook and you mess around and see it. And I'm like, oh man, that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? So if they're trying to get me with these knives, I know you guys seen them knives. I don't want them knives, but I'm looking at them like, man, them knives are nice. And it's like the butcher knife, you know what I'm talking about. Y'all men, y'all know what I'm talking about. So it's like they keep showing up. And it's showing up because now I done moved from not wanting to say, this might be something good to have. And then next thing you know, I'm gonna go from this might be something good to have. And I want them knives, right? So that's kind of like how it gets me. And I'm not gonna lie, Facebook and TikTok and all that stuff, like the advertisements show up. And then if you spend any amount of time looking at it, that advertisement is going to keep coming back. And then you're going to have advertisements like that show up as well, because the algorithm is now working in conjunction with the things that you like. So that's kind of like the thing for me. So, I may buy a little something off of Facebook, a little something off of TikTok. I'm guilty, right? But Amazon is the thing. And Amazon has been getting a little bit less of my attention these days because of TikTok and Facebook. And I think a lot of times when it comes down to it, especially if you are, considering husband and wife talking about what they're going to get little Johnny, a little Sarah for Christmas, right? And they're talking about it. Next thing you know, Facebook is showing it to them and all that other great stuff. So I think that kind of like that gets into the right vein of what we're talking about, because here the first question I want to ask you, gentlemen, is how would you describe digital fatigue?
And
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
And I'll speak on it just from personal experience. Being online all day. You don't even necessarily have to be online. I would just say being on the computer all day, especially when your brain is overstimulated or constantly working and doing things. Like right now, and I got two screens at work. I have one screen, but then I have another screen going on like in the background with something. And I'm constantly looking at spreadsheets. I'm looking at emails. I'm looking at presentations. I'm looking at data. I mean, I'm looking at things so much over and over and over. And then sometimes, like, I get fatigued. Like, I'm physically tired, even though I may have spent a lot of the day looking at the screen, because I may not have been, as busy going around and seeing students and stuff like that. So for me, digital fatigue is nothing. It's like physical fatigue, but it's being tired. I don't know, man. It's just I don't know if it's the same thing, but that's the way I'm looking at it, just being overstimulated for a long periods of time till you're aware it's like your brain is just like, dude, I just need a break. At least that's what I think it is, just looking at it right off the bat.
I think it's a real thing because I went to the doctor to get my eyes checked, and instead of paying $400 for some glasses, my daughter said, you can go online and get the same thing, yada yada. So I went to one site and I looked up one site, and then I got 40 sites sending me different glasses, and I'm like, man, I like these, but let me see if they got them over here. Let me see if they got them over here. So now I'm on Zini, Zulu, something else for all these different glasses, and I'm like, I still ain't bought a pair of glasses because I got to go back to the doctor to get the difference between my eyes to my nose, and I'm like, okay. But they will continuously throw things at you so that now it's like, okay, you being like that dude, the guy at the car lot now. I just want to check it out. You told me if I need you to call you, but you behind me every step of the way and getting on my nerves.
And everything got to have an email address and a password. Man, I got a whole list of a spreadsheet with nothing but passwords on, like over 100 passwords, because every time you get on anybody's site, even to look up anything, and sometimes you got to have login and password. And I'm just like, man, are you for real? Another one? Here we go again.
And get you a MacBook. It's safe.
It ain't got to do it. I don't know. Everything, I don't know. Every time I log into something, they ask for another password for something. Every app.
Yeah, Google sees them too. Just want to put that out there. Since he, pushing.
They save them, but you still got to have them stored somewhere in case you don't remember them. You get a new something, or go from Apple to Android. I don't know.
Or go to forget password
and change it. Yeah. For me, it's not necessarily the passwords. It's the emails. As soon as you go into a site looking for something, it was get 15% off of your order today by signing up for our emails. And the next thing I know, I wake up in the morning. Oh, you got 372 missed emails overnight because it's all just ads and all just spam from everything that I search. And the way data is shared now, when you accept those cookies, the way data is shared, they saving your search history for their ads and everybody else's ads too that sells stuff like that, because that information can be pulled. And so for me, it's just that I just get tired of getting emails, especially from people I ain't give my email out to, right? But that and for me, I'm the opposite of Coach. I do see the ads on Facebook and stuff like that, but when I'm thinking about something like, oh, I need this, I go straight to Amazon and I search it and find it the cheapest one I can get, and whether I buy it or not, like you said, for the next 3-4 weeks, 1,000 ads for that same exact thing. Even if you like, I in my mind, I'm like, I already bought this thing. Why are you sending me ads to buy the same exact shoe I just bought? Or the same exact I just bought it. But I understand the whole sharing your information stuff, making a better digital world. But it's, at least for maybe it's just because, I'm at that threshold to where this just wasn't life. And now that it is life, you can't really avoid it. You need everybody, you need a cell phone because everything is now connected digitally. Even in the military, everything is connected digitally, texting soldiers now. And so you can't really run from all of this pushing of ads and buy this and come get this and new this.
But isn't that part of the problem though? Like I think Michelle Ray mentioned about work, and Uncle Junior mentioned that he got 2 screens, right? I got 2 screens as well. And I think go to work, you look at a screen, On your break, you got your face in your cell phone, right? You come home, you got your face in the TV. You got some checking email, you got your face in your computer. You're doing some work, your face in the computer. Your face is constantly in something. I remember seeing a picture, an image, a meme a while back to where you had this dude who had this, it was like a line of people. And yeah, absolutely. You also got digital, you got the watches now that actually try to mirror what your phone have. So it's like constantly something. And the meme that I seen, it was a line of people and it was like the screen and you seen the back of his head, but the front of it was attached to the screen. And I said, man, how accurate is that? It's like that's what we do. It's to the point that it, you know, these screens have taken the place of people to where we would ignore people for the sake of these screens. Like I'm I'm going back to the question because I think it's important. Like when you look at it, does this kind of like create digital fatigue? And like, what does that look like? I know what it's like when I get tired if I start running, right? We've all experienced that. But what is it like when you get tired mentally, you know, from digital consumption?
It get hard to see for me sometimes. Sometimes my eyes, things get kind of get blurry. And I don't know if that's because my eyes get dry. Um, but even, it's probably normal, but sometimes you go outside and the light look different. You know what I mean? Because you've been inside for a few hours or so. I know that's pretty normal, but I don't know if it's elevated when you have more digital fatigue or when you've been looking at screens and stuff like that. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
I hate for when things have control over me. So when I notice that it's like I have to do something, I have to check this, I have to look at that, I have to check my email, or I got a bunch of books, but then I have a bunch of books online also, and some of the same books I have here, I have online just so it can read. I'm listening to the book and I'm reading the book, and that's cool, but it's kind of overload. It's like overboard, and when you if you're a shopper like me, I shop around, where I will be on Amazon, and I'm not scared of Temu. I'm not scared to have the orange bags come to my crib. I'm not scared of Sheen and all that other stuff. I shop at these places. You might not have the Levi's, you might put some Levi on, but you got some pants. So when you get into them, they're gonna constantly send you these things, spend now, and it's gonna get the little $100. But then you got to do something else, and then my grandkids even got into it where I'm wondering why all the grandkids all of a sudden texting me. I'm getting these text messages. If you do this, and then they say, Papa, did you do this so I can get something free? Like, get off my phone. You ain't even said how I'm doing. You want me to do this. So it pours into the children. And now they're so in tune with, okay, if I do this, I can get this and I can get that. And you think you're getting something for nothing, but all you are is just another commercial or ad.
Yeah, I'm not laughing at Temu. I promise. I just thought of I don't know if you guys seen the meme where the dude said my wife ordered this living room set off of Temu, and it's a little it's a little living room set, man, and she's like sitting on it, but she's towering over it. So I'm sorry, I just had that vision when you said Temu. Temu is aggressive. If you don't know what Temu is, Temu has an aggressive advertising campaign. Like you literally have to turn those notifications off. Chris, good to see you, brother, and welcome to the show.
Greetings. What's going on, fellas?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. We're in here talking about digital fatigue. We're pretty much unpacking it, right? We're pretty much unpacking it. One of the last things I said is I'm looking for you guys to kind of tell me like what's that like. We talked about being at work all the time. We're talking about looking at screens, constantly email, whatever the case may be. Like just about every job, most of these days have you staring into a screen of some sort. Then you'll be on your cell phone, your iPad, your laptop. You come home, you're looking at TV. Like your face is in a screen of some sort. And I'm kind of looking for you guys to kind of unpack what digital fatigue is. And you, by all means, you can jump in at any given point in time. But anyway, let me turn the floor back over to let these gentlemen finish what they're saying.
Oh, the only thing I just wanted to say, and I just added to the physical piece again too, is just sometimes you just get physically tired because your brain has been working, your eyes have been working, and then while you're doing that, you're listening. It's a whole bunch of different things going on, a whole bunch at once. So definitely the physical fatigue that can go along with the digital fatigue.
One thing while y'all was talking, I was really thinking, because I'm like, do we even notice when digital fatigue really jumps up and get us, because we've been so attached to everything digital for so long, for the last decade. Everything has become just straight digital. Like, do we even notice it? But one thing I do notice, about myself, and especially with my kids, is when you spend so much time logged in, and when you log off, it's like you have to take a reset moment, because you can't just jump and refocus into real life. I notice my kids be on their tablets or something, and I ask them to do something, they space out for a second, like, hey, now move. But that them being locked in digital to all this digital stuff, when you come out, it you have to refocus everything, not just your eyes, not just your head, but your mind. And that's something that I notice is weird, because you don't realize what's going on. It just happens. But that's something that I can observe, with my kids and with myself.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think it also creates a dependency there as well. One of the things, like I teach a class, one of the classes I teach at work, I ask them a question in the beginning to see what they know about the topic that we're going to talk about. Well, one of the things I won't allow them to do is go on the internet, because you got to realize I'm talking to cyber officers, right? So one of the things I won't let them do is go on the internet and search Google, Bing, or whatever other search engine they can imagine. Like, I want you to think. Tell me what it is that you know, not what you can research. So there is a lot of dependency that comes from these items, these devices, and unfortunately, that's part of the fatigue. Like the dependency that you have on them, it creates fatigue. I'm sorry, Chris. Go ahead, brother.
No, I didn't have anything. I actually find this topic relatively interesting, because digital fatigue is why I do 6 months of hell. Sometimes you just need that disconnect from having a phone in front of your face or a computer in front of your face, because, like all of you said, most of our work is digital. We're sitting in front of a computer typing, or we're on a Zoom call or something like that, something that has to do with holding a device in your face, or doing something. Or some of us are deep in the well, for you and not too long ago, you were deep into the YouTube conversation piece. So you got to use all types of digital media to edit. Then you got to clip. Then you got to put it out there. So it's like sometimes when I do 6 months of hell, I just disconnect from all of that, and then I see just how much time I have to do other things that I could have been doing while I was doing this. You understand what I'm saying? So this is interesting, because I don't really suffer from it, because I pull myself away from it.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. We're going to get into a lot of that here in real short. Brother Gaddy, you have any more you want to add to this particular point?
No, I'm good. Cause to be honest with you, while we having this conversation, I'm sitting here like, man, am I experiencing digital fatigue? Because I work on the computer all day as well. Thousand soldiers a day, but everything that we do is on the computer.
Yeah.
But no, that ain't it. I got off a little early and went to the gym before I picked up the kids. So I'm tired.
Now,
But you asked a question though. Oh, go ahead, Coach.
No. Go ahead.
You did ask a question, and you asked, do we even really know if we're fatigued? You know what I mean? And I think sometimes we don't know. And I think sometimes when we recognize it, we're already in the midst of being fatigued. Most of the time, that's when I recognize it. When I'm nodding, when I'm asleep, like you know what I mean? That's when I'm realizing I've started thinking about, okay, well, what did I do today? And I start thinking about, okay, well, what time did I get up? What did I do? What did I do at work? Did I go to the gym today? I start thinking about all of those things. How much time? And that's one thing that I consciously think about when I am going back, and when I think I'm, digitally fatigued, I do think about how much time I spent on the computer that day. And if I know that I spent excess time, I will shut something down. So I think a lot of times, to your question, I don't think most people know that they're digitally fatigued until they're in it, and may not even recognize it then.
Yeah. And to your point, when you start compounding these things, because some of the things that you're going to experience, you can experience headaches. I think Crystal started giving us a good list of it. You can start experiencing headaches. You can start experiencing blurred vision. You will get tired, like as though you were out there working on a construction site. Like you can get actually tired. Um, you can also become irritable as well. So these things start happening and you don't even realize it, like Uncle Junior said. And I'm agreeing. And then when you factor in during this time of season with the spike in shopping online for those people who don't normally shop online, right? So now they're back in those devices searching for this particular product. And let's just say, hypothetically speaking, I'm probably going to date myself. Most of you guys should remember this. Back when, remember that Elmo? Remember when Elmo was the big deal? Everybody wanted the Elmo. And so
Tickle Me
imagine,
Elmo.
yeah, the
Yeah,
Tickle
that
Me Elmo, right?
stupid Tickle Me Elmo thing.
My son had one.
Everybody wanted the Tickle Me Elmo, right?
Man, listen,
So
I worked at Best Buy, and I've seen literal fist fights over that damn thing. Like moms really like squaring up over the Tickle Me Elmo because there are no more. Somebody got I'm sorry, that's my tangent.
no, you're good, man. You're good.
That's the benefit of shopping at 240 pounds. Because my son got a Tickle Me Elmo when I went and got it for him, and it was a Christmas gift back when he was like 2. I went and got it for him, and his mom she just looked at me with such disgust. I just looked at her and kept walking. Hey,
got Genghis, you got Genghis Kong over here beating up women in the store for a Tickle Me Elmo, right? So but again, it's not just, and I use that because I want to go from the Tickle Me Elmo to the PS5 and all this other stuff. Like it's always something. And so during these years, it's not that you're going to the store and being in the store. Of course, they're still going to try to do I think they still do a Black Friday sale, a day after Christmas sale, whatever the case may be, when you got to be in the store at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then you throwing bowls and trying to, get what you want on sale. But again, imagine being in these screens, these TVs and cell phones or whatever, trying to find the item that you want, and every place you go is sold out. This place is sold out. This place is sold out. And then next thing you know, you see an ad that says, "Hey, come to Walmart at 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay, we got a fresh new batch of it." And now you got like 250 people. So all of this stuff, kind of adds up, which kind of takes me to my next question, which is the second question under digital fatigue, right? In your opinion, how can individuals strike a healthy balance between utilizing technology for holiday planning and maintaining meaningful offline connections?
Have rules. All right. So this may seem corny, but like, even if you're dating, like we're going on a date, put your phone down while we date, right? If we are having a family get together or something like that and everybody's around, I mean, if everybody agrees with it, maybe you have some time set aside to where it's all right for the next hour. We're just gonna enjoy each other. We're not gonna, we're gonna create some memories and we're gonna play this game. We're gonna play Pictionary or whatever, and we're not gonna take photos and we're not gonna take pictures. I think that's one thing that you can do. Um, but also I think at the same time, I think it's with anything else, like, we're talking about striking a healthy balance and how, but I think it's just coming up with rules, coming up with plans to whereas you can still do both things, like put limitations on your screen time, put limitations on how much money you plan on spending, and then, even maybe even put certain things on the calendar to do. So, all right, on this day, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and I'm just going to buy these things. Or I'm just going to spend 30 minutes shopping. I'm not going to waste a whole bunch of time. I'm going to get what I need, and then I'm going to get off. So at the end of the day, I say all I have to say is just come up with some strategies or some left and right limits when you're trying to do either one. Mainly when you're doing the holiday planning so you can maintain the meaningful offline connection.
And this one is hard for me because it's been a long time since I've done any holiday or Christmas shopping. Really long time. I think that Tickle Me Elmo was my last Christmas when my son was 2. He just turned 12. So, but you know, for those who must indulge, I say just start early. You know, if you got to do stuff like that, just do it early so you're not. I think when you rush to get stuff done because it's last minute, you trying to find the specific stuff, you'll hit a fatigue a lot faster. And I don't care if it's a holiday, a birthday, or whatever the case may be. If we could plan it out, maybe if that's feasible for you. But you know, I'm just I feel like even and with saying that, right, doing it early, I feel like we got to keep ourselves careful of caught into these traps because they're advertisement traps, right? No matter what it is. I see people they sending you out doggone Veterans Day sales because they want to drive up sales for Veterans Day, Memorial Day sale. Memorial Day, can we just memorialize the person, like, or the people, and not have to go shopping because we're remembering those who we lost, right? But we got to learn how to break out of, I guess since we're talking about the digital, break out of the matrix a little bit, so and not move based upon the drive, get things on at a different time, do things differently, don't get caught up with, like when I was growing up, my mother used to always say, when summer begins is when she begins looking for school supplies and school clothes, and she'll buy them a size bigger so we can grow into them next year. That's when nobody's out there shopping crazy, and nobody's and it's not, the sales aren't driven up, and everything is cheaper, and it's less stress. I think sometimes we get caught into these matrix. It forces stress upon us, because you talk about digital stress. Before digital stress, Doc, when it come to Christmas, people were stressed out in the stores. I remember that one of my favorite movies growing up was Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad, Jingle All the Way. Them jokers brought a fake bomb into the radio station just so he can get to the doggone to the toy. Like, we got to get out of that matrix. We can't get trapped there, because it's going, no matter how we play, whether it's digital or not, it's stress on us, and it shouldn't be stress not to have what we call a celebration. But that's just my 2 cents.
I think when you look at your discipline or lack thereof, you notice that it needs you more than you need it. You got to see that you have a problem. It's like when the PS5 came out. I'm online, like, I'm about to get one because my nephew got one from Walmart.com. He like, you got to be on Wednesday night at this time. And so every Wednesday I'm on the computer. Okay, you got to be on there. And it's like, why am I about to pay $1,000 for this thing so I can play one game? And instead of paying $1,000, I think I paid $800. Like, that's not a deal for something that sit there all day and I don't even use it. It's like, if I do, I play it a couple times, and then it's just sitting there. But we are so we're slaves to that because our culture is a culture of being consumers. So now, when it comes to this holiday season, my granddaughter just sent her little list out. Her little list about $1,300. Her granddaughter, one. I got 3 granddaughters, 10 grandsons. You said you got $1,300 on your thing. And they know me. I'm like, ain't nobody, you ain't even got a chimney. I'm not thinking about nobody coming down the chimney. Nobody's coming in the jolly red suit and all that other stuff. I don't go with that. I don't lie to them about that stuff. But I know people want things. People look at it as the season of giving. So when it comes to being online, I'm not sitting in front of a computer all day to get these sales because it's going to be a Cyber Monday. It's going to be clearance rack stacked with stuff. I get winter clothes in the spring. I get spring, and so forth. When the seasons change, things go on sale. They get those red tags on them. That's when I go. So I'm not about to sit up there and stress myself out over some things that people really aren't going to appreciate anyway.
I need you to do something else, man.
This is, like I said, man, this is interesting to me because you are all talking about digital fatigue and the effects that being in front of a screen have on you, like, long term. And because of all of those things, like I said, that's why I take 6 months off of it. I just remove myself from it because I know how intoxicating it could be to get that dopamine rush every time you look at your screen, or every time you do something on social media or get a like, or every time you buy something that you think is on sale, like you save some money when really you spent some money. You understand what I'm saying? Like, This is all interesting to me. And so, to answer the question, I've never been a part of holiday planning. I've just always been the guy that said, hey, bring some ice and whatever you got, and then come through. Like, I've never actually had to plan anything. I've just had to go be a part of the plan. So I don't know.
Gotcha.
Since we're talking about digital fatigue, and Chris just mentioned it, he said he takes 6 months off of the year. So I have always wondered why people take off from social media. Me personally, I don't get it. I'm like, if I don't want to see something, I don't watch it. And I know we've talked about this before, but I'm just, adding my 2 cents. And it's like, well, everything that's on my page, I have subscribed to. I have liked it, stayed on it long enough to where the algorithm wants to send me more of it. So if I'm having a problem with social media or digital fatigue, is it not all self-inflicted?
Yes, it is. It is self-inflicted. It's you doing it. That's why I stop.
So is it? Do you think it's so? Is it for you? And I'm not trying to put you on the spot, and you don't have to answer if you want to. But is it because you don't think that you can control yourself, or is it that, like, what's the reason for getting off? Like, I can just, like, I got the app on my phone. I just don't click on the app, and I won't see anything on Facebook for 6 months. But I don't have to, like, close my Facebook account to not be on it or delete the app. Like you said, they was talking about before, what do you say? Forgot password and it come right back up. So if you have access to it, have you really deleted it anyway? I mean, you pretty much are doing the same thing.
Why I do it? I do it because when social media first came out, I saw how addicting it was, and I was just scrolling endlessly for no reason, and found that I was wasting hours at a time scrolling endlessly for no reason. So I always, after my birthday, I remove all of the apps from my phone. I don't have Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I don't have any of that on my phone because I don't need it. If I really need to go log into social media, I go sit in front of my computer to do it. And it's annoying. So I'm only on there for a short span of time and then I get off. It was just because I knew it was an issue for me. And I knew that being on there and scrolling endlessly, constantly getting all of that dopamine rushed to me was an issue once I was off of it, because I couldn't find anything in real life to give me that same dopamine rush. You understand what I'm saying? So it was a me thing. So that's why I do it. Plus, I was doing it, and then it was like, all right, let me keep doing this and only go on social media for a purpose, which is why I changed it to, you know what I'm saying? When you see me on social media, it's a workout video or it's a live stream or it's an interview from my YouTube channel. I had to figure out I had to use it for a purpose instead of just scrolling just to scroll. You understand what I'm saying? And then it's like I started seeing a very, very big contrast between what social media portrays and what's outside. You know what I'm saying? So I started learning how to deal in the real world. It was a me thing. And I mean, I would recommend that people do it, but not for as long as I do. What I'm doing is extreme. It's really, really extreme. Like, but I would just recommend just taking a detox and actually living in the real world and see how people act in real life, as opposed to as opposed to the highlights and the negativity that you see on social media, depending on what your algorithm has. You understand what I'm saying? So to go back to answering your question, I did it because it was a me thing and I saw how much time I was wasting.
I appreciate that, man. And the most profound thing that I heard and what I got out of that was that when you said you didn't have, at the time, you didn't have anything else to give you that same amount of dopamine rush. You know what I mean? I think that is key right there, because I think that's part of the problem or the situation with, I mean, sometimes digital fatigue can just come from your job. You know what I mean? But sometimes it's self-inflicted by people spending countless amount of times on social media. And a lot of it is because people don't have anything else going on in their life that can give them that amount of dopamine or that amount of rush or whatever like that in their life. So I get it though.
I just wanted to bring out that your phone tracks all of this. Your phone tells you your daily usage and screen time, messages, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all these social media things. And my daily average on this thing is 7 hours and 47 minutes during this past week. So, and that's what, like what I do is I usually get up around 4:30. I'm not touching the phone until 6 because I got to read. I got to do other things to stimulate my mind before I get on that thing, because I know that thing is going to kind of deter me from where I'm trying to go at times. And even though when I get up in the morning, I'm trying to do some things that may help where I'm going. But once you get on one site, you're going to see other things that lead you other places. So now you like a rabbit or a dog chasing a rabbit, and it's going everywhere. And I saw the maker or the whomever it is, the Chinese dude, made TikTok. He said he don't let his kids use TikTok. Because he understands what it does to the mental. Whoever, it wasn't Steve, it was Steve Jobs, somebody, one of those guys. A few years ago, I think he did. Before he died, he said he don't let his kids use whatever it is that Apple products and stuff. He don't let them. They don't have cell phones like we have, because it detracts from where you're going, and it makes sure they focus you. They narrow your mind so you are narrow-minded. So I think disciplining yourself where you have certain times where you say, hey, it's dinner time, put that phone up. In the morning, put that phone up. Because if you are there all day, tap, 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 looking at different things, you say, I'm just going to send this text. And then this text message, and you got a little bubble. So you went there and you're going all over the place. And you have to have enough discipline to allow yourself to reset. And if you're constantly in that mode, because I will be in front of my TV is a computer also. And I got a 75-inch TV up there where I'm watching YouTube. I got a computer on my lap. I got an iPad. I got an iPhone. So I got all these different avenues of things just trying to get my attention, where I can just say, okay, let me just pick up a book, or let me just go be one with nature. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what I like. Let me go for a walk instead of being in this zone.
It's funny
Yeah,
you said
you
screen
know,
time. I just looked up mine, man. Today I had 226, but like mine is usually like an hour and something. Like last Saturday and Sunday, it's like 143 and like 139. So like I don't spend a lot of time like on my phone. It was funny you said that because it made me want to look up mine. So 7
but
hours. Jeez.
on, on the plus side for those of us who are still parenting uh young kids, I heard they trying to bring Toys R Us back. And for me, I saw something. I didn't really dive into the whole realness of the nature, but I saw someone posted a video. They were building the Toys R Us, and I was like, "Come on, bring it back." And here's the funny thing: it ain't if they do, it wouldn't last long because everything has gone so digital, especially since Toys R Us has gone out of business. Because for parents who still need to get things for their kids, we all know Walmart is very limited when it comes to the toys and stuff you can get. So you want to get some of the stuff that you used to go to Toys R Us and get. You got to go online. You got to look for it. You got to search, and then you spending hours on there trying to find the best deals because you ain't trying to go broke. So just simply buying your kid a toy, you got to get online and search for it. So I'm just hoping for the days to where you can get your hands on some good quality toys again, because those are the things that kind of drive you there. They're the things that are considered necessities, right? As a parent, you buying toys is kind of considered a necessity, but ain't for you to go online and search and then you get stuck going down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, I don't know if when I was parenting little kids, I don't know if it was that me wanting them to buy. I wanted to buy quality. I wanted to buy them something so they could shut up. No, I'm joking. So I'm joking, man. I'm joking. Calm down. No, I'm picking up everything that you guys are saying. I think in conjunction with that, Uncle Junior, I like where you went with it. The word I would use in conjunction with rules, I would call it like boundaries. Like we have to create some sort of boundaries around what it is that we're doing. I like the fact that Roland brought in the concept of your phone track the screen times, but keep in mind those times aren't 100% saying that that's the time that you have it on your face. That also includes the time that you have apps running on your phone that you have not closed out. And so, Uncle Junior, when I hear you say I ain't got but an hour, you a man that probably keep all your apps closed. To where a lot of times I just hit the little power button and close it out, and apps still run in the background, so it's saying that that's what's still running. So those things matter as well. But I think we have to be conscious about what it is we're doing, and not just conscious, but be more intentional about where we're trying to go. When we look at the things that we're doing in our life, the direction that we're trying to go, I think we have to conclude that wherever we direct our attention to, our intention follows as well. So either we can be either we can be intentional about it and give the attention to the things that we're intentional about, or they can grab our attention and then the intention will follow as well. So we have to understand what's actually happening within time and space in real time in our life. Are we managing our time, or is somebody else controlling the time that we manage? And that's what ends up happening. So thank you guys for sharing that. I kind of want to jump into managing expectations, because the managing expectations piece, I believe, is important, and I think we started touching on that as well. Um, how can we? And I'll start here. How can we set? Or how can setting realistic expectations help individuals reduce holiday stress and anxiety? And then, are there biblical principles that support this concept if you choose to add that piece to it as well?
Do what you want to do. Stop worried about what everybody else want you to do. I would say that because I would say this. Um, I don't mean it in a negative way, but I mean it in you have to take care of yourself, right? So I have known people who have said that, hey, say for there's a holiday party in the neighborhood, right? And people feel obligated to go to the party, even though they really don't want to go to the neighborhood party because they don't rock with everybody in the neighborhood. But they feel like, okay, well, if I don't go, I'm not being neighborly. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you have to live your own life and do what you want to do. And you can't worry about hurting someone else's feelings, or you shouldn't be doing things during the holiday season just because someone else expects you to, and then you got to have realistic expectations and different things like that, because the holidays can be stressful, especially when you're looking to your left and the right, and you may be comparing yourself to what you have versus to what someone else may have. The Jones is down the street, he bought his wife a Land Rover for Christmas, and you bought your wife a Pandora bracelet, your Pandora charm. You know what I mean? You can't compare yourself and worry about what he got his wife. You don't know what's going on and the reason why he got his wife that Range Rover. Maybe they got an inheritance. Maybe he makes some good financial decisions. Maybe they saved for 15 years for it. You don't know. You can't compare yourself. And I think one of the things that people do around the holidays, and I've been guilty of it, and some of it is not even my fault. Some of it was, quick story, being a child, right? We all got Christmas, and then we all had to go back to school in January. Well, good, bad, or different, I didn't always have the best Christmases, right? So I would go back to school, and it was stressful because you already know Roland gonna be like, "Hey, what you got for Christmas, bro?" And Roland gonna have on some new shoes, some new clothes. He gonna have on a bomber jacket or a triple fat goose. You know what I mean? Some new flights or something like that. And I might not have got nothing for Christmas. So now, I'm stressing out, going, not necessarily looking forward to go back to school. You know what I mean? And I think that can happen the same way on an adult level. When you go back to work after the holidays, people will say, "Hey, what your husband get you for Christmas? What your wife get you for Christmas?" Don't worry about all of that stuff. You live your life the way you want to live it, and not worry about what someone else has or don't have. And that right there will help you reduce your stress and your anxiety during the holiday season.
I like that. I like that.
So I was gonna go left with it.
No, I just like the way you start. I thought it was fun the way you start out.
Oh.
I might as well do it. All right. Because since Coach asked, because I think you know where my mind is with it, right? So I'm not even gonna dance with it. I was reading. It's funny, the other day, talking to somebody about Mark chapter 7, right? You know the story. The Pharisees was waiting, plotting, looking for something to judge Christ on, and what they found was his disciples eating bread without washing their hands. So because it was a tradition of the elders, they came and found fault and says, "Why did your disciples not keep the traditions of the elders and eat bread unclean without washing their hand?" And his response was so profound to me, because he said, did not Isaiah prophesy of you? And I just happened to have it open, right? He said, did he not prophesy of you when it was written, "This people honor me with their lips, but their hearts is far from me, and in vain they worship me, teaching as doctrines the commandments of men." Right? So my thing is, I don't understand why we just can't leave it alone. Why the suicide rates go up around this time. The stress levels go up around this time. People go broke, go back on their bills around this time. Also that they can honor the traditions of man, right? And let's just be real, and don't worry, I'll wait. I'll count to 3 if anybody can throw up a scripture that tells us to celebrate any of the stuff that we celebrate, right? Because we call them holidays, derivative from the term holy days, right? So since we can't, for me, the biblical principle is, how about we leave these things alone and go back to the things that are actually of the scripture? Because what Christ jumps at them and says, he says, "For you are the hypocrites, for you keep the traditions of the elders, but you deny the commandments of God." And before they even can have a comeback, when you get a chance to read it, verse 9, that's all I had to read. He said to them, all too well, you reject the commandments of God that you may keep your traditions. That's all I tell people. Be careful.
I think when it comes to anything bringing out a biblical aspect of it, Luke 12:15 says, and he said to them, take care and be on your guard against all covetousness. For one's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions. And if all we're thinking about is what we can gain, how much more we can have, and what's the newest this and the newest phone and the newest that, then our minds are on things that aren't going to do anything lifelong for us. Because I will get online and I'm searching out ways of doing whether investing and things of that sort. So I'm trying to build money. I'm trying to build things. I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to seek out other things. But sometimes you're too busy looking at what you can spend on pleasures. You're looking at what you can spend on pleasures for other people and make this person happy, when those little trinkets won't necessarily make them more happy than your time or your concern or your show that you're caring for them. And I think we need to go back to where we actually show people that we care with what we share with them outside of what we buy for them, instead of just buying a bunch of stuff to supplement that or to take the place of that, because that's what we do. I'm gonna buy my kids this, I'm gonna buy them that, and then the little ingrates don't get it, then they're not happy. I don't care whether you're happy or not when it comes to things of that sort. So I mean, and they call me Grinch, they call me this, and because I don't share in that enthusiasm with it. But I'm looking at how can I set you up for success outside of your pleasures, and that's just me.
Whoa. So now you've embarked into something different, because if I don't buy her something, then that means I don't love her.
Major Payne.
That is correct. That's a correct statement.
Major Payne said, if you want sympathy, you can find it in the dictionary.
No, I was trying. I mean, you
But listen, isn't that what everybody believes?
That's a correct statement for a lot of people.
That's a correct perception for a lot of people.
It's a correct statement where we've been trained.
Yes.
So that's why you have to unlearn. You have to untrain and train your way. You see, we're allowing when I say we, not me, because my kid's grown, but like my daughter now, when my grandkids send a list of that sort, the kids are training the adults now, because they see what my father always called the boob tube says, you need this, you gotta have this, you gotta have this. And they're watching this TV and their friends gonna have it, like I think Uncle's saying. And so I gotta have it or I'm gonna get talked about, I'm gonna get bullied. So now your concern is more about what other people think of you rather than who you actually are. So your merit is based on other people, not even yourself. So it's like, are you really that? It's like, what are we building? Are we building people that can stand on their own and on their own merit and their own worth? Or are we building worthless people to say, hey, what does this person say about me? They didn't like my post. They didn't like my picture. I don't give a cuss about your picture or your post. Did you like it? See, when you have that self-worth, that self-esteem, that self-value, then what other people deem as necessary really doesn't matter.
So I think the word you was looking for was shallow, and I would say it, yes. Are you really that shallow? That's exactly what it is. If you base your relationship on a gift, that's a very shallow relationship, and you probably shouldn't have been the one to start off with. My bad.
Take the L, gentlemen.
Take the L. Chris, what you got to add, bro?
I want to add just something onto what Roland said when he was talking about the kids and stuff like that and going to school stuff. I'm gonna add back to that. It's the same thing. Let's take it a step. Let's add another layer and go back to the adults. Some of the adults are part of the problem too because they don't want to be seen as the parent who have the child who don't have all of the new stuff. That's part of the problem too. You know what I mean? Yes, sir.
So I want to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying. So what I hear you saying is that parents are actually overextending themselves during Christmas time to preserve some sort of ego that they have and want themselves to be deemed as some type of parent of the year, whatever the case may be.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And if
And
you can't get
I see it every day because I work in the elementary school. So I
If
see
you
it
can-
every day.
if you can't get a credit card any time of the year, you get a credit card right now because they want you to go in debt. They
Yeah.
want you to be slaves to them,
Because they know tax time in a couple more months.
and they ain't gonna pay it then either. They just gonna
Yeah.
try to write it off, and then have them people calling them house and ducking and dodging calls. But that's what we do. We get a bunch of credit cards and we run up the bill. We go in debt to be happy for one day.
For one day.
One day, everybody happy, but then you trying to pay. You paying $27.50 on a $10,000 credit card, and next
The
month
next
it's gonna be
50 years.
$10,003 and keep on
Yeah.
multiplying.
Your kids end up having to take over that debt when you die.
And then we
Or-
turn around and ask, how did our kids become so selfish, so shallow, so self-centered,
Mhm.
so spoiled? How their egos? Where did I go wrong? You handed down that ego, and I had to be the one to bring it out since Chris wanted to be a little silent today.
You late,
Nah.
bro. I mentioned ego about 10 minutes ago, but you
This
you
is
can say-
so
you can say-
new to me.
You didn't say it's strong though. You know, you slid it in there.
The
They
word
gotta-
This is
Open up.
so new to me. Hearing y'all talk about this is this is so new to me.
Is it really?
I yes. Listen,
I like
man,
see I like what Unc said when he said that your kids take over the debt. I would add a caveat to that, or you mess around and wreck your car and get the insurance money and pay the credit card off with part of the insurance money, and then go buy
Mhm.
then go put the rest on the down payment for the. I'm only speaking from experience. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Go ahead, Chris.
You did that?
No, my ex did that.
oh
Exactly what y'all just mentioned. Like no joke.
shoot.
Real
But you know
talk.
what though? I used to work in credit repair. So
There you go.
that's-
You got all the
that's-
stories.
yeah, that's an actual thing in our community. Like no lying. And I no longer work there anymore, so I'm not under any non-disclosure agreements or anything like that. I think actually the company shut down because the CEO passed away, so I'm not under any agreement. So I can say this: I was helping a client who was paying $1,000 a month on a $30,000 car just to have a car. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, and then tried to ask me how she could get out of it. Like, you got to pay this. So but to do all of this stuff on during this season, just to have to dig yourself out of just to go into the new year digging yourself out of a hole. This is new to me. I have never done this.
They probably building GoFundMe now so they can get Christmas gifts. Let's just be
Oh
real.
wow.
I bet you there's a GoFundMe right now.
There are. I've never seen that, but there are, I believe, wholeheartedly couples who get in arguments every year about this very subject because
I guarantee
generally
it.
what happens, one is a spender and one is a saver, right? And so kids show up with, like Roland said, a $1,300 Christmas list, right? And one of the parents will literally attempt to buy almost everything on that Christmas list, especially if they only got one or two kids. Oh yeah, they're gonna try to buy everything on that Christmas list. And don't let that parent be one of those people like we were and mess around and have to deploy and be gone during that time of year. Oh, cha-ching, cha-ching. That's all it is, just swiping. Well, who's gonna pay this bill? Oh, well, we'll get around to it. Yeah, man. This
was me.
this happens a lot. You said that was you?
It was me. Yeah, man.
So you was the swiper?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Bro, look, when you're in Iraq, you ain't nothing more than a paycheck anyway.
Mm.
I mean, remember back in 07 and 08, the internet wasn't like it was today. There wasn't no StreamYard and all of this stuff. You know, it was shoddy connection. Everybody had wires running all up in the air from chew to chew and from the pole and all of that stuff. If you was in a good location, internet was all slow, the bandwidth, people been there downloading music and stuff. That's how it was. So like you didn't always have a way to contact home, So it was like for me, some of it may have been out of guilt, just like, well, I ain't there. I'll buy them everything on the list that they want. It's the least I can do. That was my mindset then. And I
it
used
was
to
a way
pay for
for
it,
us to,
and I used to pay for it in January and February and March and April. Now, when on December the 26th, everything that was bought for Christmas is already paid for. I don't pay for
yeah.
Christmas after Christmas.
And
And yeah.
I think we talk about the pride and ego part of it, but just what you brought up on that, it was the guilt part. We try to replace our presents with presents, with gifts.
I
I
did.
I know Coach he ain't played none of them games.
I didn't
Coach,
feel
y'all
no.
didn't do that?
I had
Yeah.
to work, bro. I didn't feel no remorse for having to work.
Yeah. No, I feel you because I'm the same way, but I know way too many people that came back broke. Like we talk about the private that came back broke because he bought a Mustang, right? $100,000 car from his deployment money. But this parents that went broke because they were trying to compensate for not being there, or the parent that was back at home was overspending because they were trying to compensate for mommy and daddy not being there, and that's a real thing. There's people that struggle with that.
It is a real thing. And when we used to deploy, when we would come back, soldiers got all that money. They'll go out and buy the newest this and newest that. And then the next, I'm telling you, I was this person because I always been a hustler. So a couple months later, they want to sell it. They broke. And they going to take it to the pawn shop. So I used to, hey, don't take it to the pawn shop, sell it to me. I'll give you $100 for whatever. Hey, you going to sell it anyway. And then I buy that little stuff and then I sell it. Because I knew that, because Dwayne, remember 04, everybody came back, what they do? They bought motorcycles.
Yeah.
Everybody bought motorcycles.
Yep.
And then they tried to squash it because we had a soldier. He flipped over on the motorcycle and he died. But everybody was buying the motorcycle. Oh, I got 10 G's. I'm going to buy a motorcycle. And everybody buying the new game, the new this, the new that. Like, nah, I'm good. I try not to. I told you, my daddy taught me a couple things. He said, you can make a ninja buy. He didn't say ninja, but you can make a ninja buy anything. All you got to do is put lights on it or make it shine. And I always had that in the back of my mind when my kids was talking about, why you ain't got no rims? I'm like, because the engineer said these cool. Why I'm going to do that? Then you're going to be talking about you need some shoes because I'm trying to ride around with some rims and this, that, and the other. But I never was that person to just splurge. And y'all know, because y'all seen me last week when I was on the thing, I buy toys. I love my toys. But my toys now are different and I'm grown and them kids grown. And my toys are things that everybody just can't buy right off the rip. So I like my toys, but I know if I can't afford a toy right now, I'm not buying a toy just because. Like I like the motorcycle, but I can't get none now. So I buy them toys where I can go pew pew or ping ping at the range.
So you wasn't riding on spinners?
That's
I bet Coach, you had spinners?
Absolutely not.
Spinners?
No.
something irish.
Listen, man, can I say something, please?
Oh, he had them. Chris had the spinners.
Nah, I didn't.
No?
I never had. Listen, man, I never understood putting $10,000 rims on a car.
I never had
I
spinners. I wanted
never
them.
understood that. Like I thought, to be honest, I mean, it looked sweet, but I thought fine. But then this was around the time where I was really, really digging into the finance aspect of things, and I was doing credit repair and things like that. So I didn't understand the thought process behind doing that. Like I just didn't get it. It looked sweet, but I thought financially it was the dumbest thing that you could do.
Agreed. So kind of keep pressing because we're getting short on time here. I want to bring out the question: what advice can you offer to someone who feels pressured to create the perfect holiday experience for their family?
Mine would be to make it personal. make it something that a memory that'll last, because trinkets won't last. It's gonna break. They gonna want something else. But time and knowledge and time with loved ones, that lasts forever. When you can, do something like, if you gonna blow a few $1,000s, go somewhere and do something. Spend some time away from your devices and such. I mean, I know everybody, and then make it to where if you're gonna have the kids want to do all this spending, say, okay, well, you get this amount of money, let's go buy something one for another. Let's do things like that, to where now you got to take your money and spend it on them and thinking about them, and you just can't throw something together. It got to be thought out, because I think when you have a family and you have them to where, because they're going at odds, kids gonna be going at odds and everything, you make it to where they have to thoughtfully be concerned about those other people that are their loved ones, because that's who they gonna have in their life forever. Not those friends that's gonna leave, not those people online that don't care about them. I think do something that's meaningful.
The one thing I used to hate about watching holiday movies were almost all of them revolved around the idea that Santa Claus came and gave somebody that one present, that angry evil mama was only angry and evil because she didn't get the dollhouse she wanted as a kid. And so he shows up and gives her the dollhouse, and all of a sudden she's the sweetest mother on the block, and they live happily ever after. Get that mess out of your mind. Because 9 times out of 10, when if we get together and we talking about, our childhood, whether it's a holiday or not, we always talking about what we did with our cousins, with our friends, with our family members. We're not talking about, oh, well, I got this, remember the action pack Super Ninja grip. No, half of us can't even remember what we got for most of our Christmases, right? Some of y'all probably can, right? But a lot of us can't, because what we care about is that family time and that time to play with our cousins and hanging out. But why does it have to be a holiday? Why do we detach from our families until Thanksgiving and Christmas? If we build a life of togetherness and of community together, I just wholeheartedly believe that there wouldn't be no stress on trying to make a perfect anything, because coming together will become natural to us. Like in all these holidays that we celebrate, there's always so much stress around having the money to get stuff and being able to decorate and being able to do this and do that, and I'm just of the belief, let's find some of these holiday or holy days in the scripture. The hardest thing to do in those holy days is fast, is deny yourself, not go broke. If we have to celebrate something, I tell people this all the time. People always say, I do it for the kids, or what about your kids? How do you teach it to your kids? Well, my kids had a Christmas and they ain't missing anything. They ain't sad. They don't come home crying about it. They'll talk about the stuff they learned and taught at school, but it's because once we condition them to need, just like Chris talked about with the social media, right? How it releases those endorphins and get you that rush, and that's why TikTok is made up of 30-second videos, because so that you can keep going from rush to rush to rush, so you can keep getting high, right? That's the same thing when we have our kids dependent on the perfect holiday being based upon what gift they get or don't get. It's the way that what we teach them to have value in. I can keep going. I don't want to preach, so I'm gonna sit down.
What advice can you offer someone who feels pressure to create the perfect holiday experience for their family? I kind of got two. One is, I think you have to be flexible when you're trying to do anything and you got a bunch of people that's involved. You have to be flexible because timelines may change. People may not get in on time. and just things are going to be different because people are, especially if it's at your house or something like that, because people are out of their normal area. So things are going to be off. So we got to be willing to be flexible. And I think another thing is you have to set kind of like the other question, you have to set realistic expectations. You know what I mean? I know it's like I want everything to be perfect, but what really is perfect? You know what I mean? Can I really get all of these things done in one day? Do I really need to have this sort of napkin that goes along with this spoon or whatever? I don't know. Whatever it is that's creating all of that pressure, set realistic expectations for everything. And then, like I said before, be flexible. So those would be my two pieces of information or pieces of advice for someone who's feeling pressure to create the perfect holiday experience for their family. I wanted to keep it short and sweet.
Okay. No, Chris, you good?
I got nothing. This is where I learn. Like
Gotcha.
seriously, this is where I
Gotcha.
learn because I've never had these pressures before. I don't know what this is
Gotcha.
about.
Gotcha.
And hearing y'all talk about it, I'm taking mental notes.
Gotcha.
I'm probably going to go back and watch this because this is new to me.
Yeah. I would add to what everybody's saying. And I think when you hear it, you'll see how it has migrated into adulthood. Value people over things. I think a lot of times what you are experiencing in adult life is what was taught in their childhood. They look forward to these things and they have a large degree of excitement or depression because they either got everything they wanted, they didn't get something that they wanted, whatever that looks like. So teach your children to value people over things. In fact, love the giver more than the gift. And then what happens is when that person gets older, they'll never tie the gift to the giver and then kind of judge or scale the giver according to said gift. If you value people according to what they give you, then you're missing the core competency of when it comes down to connectedness and connections. And unfortunately, that's probably one of the main reasons why we see families coming together and their faces are stuck in their cell phone as opposed to spending time with them. With that said, last question is, what are some techniques to enjoying families and friends as opposed to indulging into cyberspace? I'm just going to take my leave early. Put the cell phone aside. I think Garfield mentioned this earlier. Put the cell phone aside. When you're in the presence of loved ones, take that cell phone. And I'm gonna say the thing that most people don't want to hear because they're gonna go. Their minds are already in left field. Take that cell phone, turn it face down. So even when you put that bad boy on vibrate, you don't even see it light up. I don't even care if it light up unless it's life, limb, or eyesight. They can wait. That's my 2 cents, gentlemen. What you got?
I like that, and then I'm gonna add to it. The same thing. Put the cell phone down, but or either just put it on do not disturb, right? And then have it on there to where if the people who need to get in contact with you can get in contact with you. Like right now, my phone goes all on do not disturb at 10 o'clock at night to 5 o'clock, maybe 4 o'clock in the morning. It's only about 5 people that can get through my phone. So if it ain't those 5 people, it's not that important. You know what I'm saying? So, like Coach said, put the phone down, and then to go a step further for me is if you're going to do that, or maybe a step back. If you don't want to just put it down completely, just put it on there to only certain people who need to get in contact with you can get in contact with you, and then enjoy the festivities.
Absolutely. I think you got to find time to play games together, right? Like the kids always gonna have their time, together, and the adults gonna have their time together. But there got to be times where we can, team up and play Pictionary or something like that. Games like that are lost, right? Things that you can still get your brain moving and interact, and be funny. Laugh. I get to laugh at my daddy for tripping or for not knowing how to signal something or draw something. Like, those things are memories for family members and for children when they grow up. So take that time, spend time, let the kid be, let the kids enjoy watching y'all do what you do, right? I know when we go and we visit family and my kids come, oh daddy, can we have our tablets? Not right now. Not right now. They don't understand. Like, they're mad because they can't go and zone out and get on their tablets. Just sit down. Listen. The adults are talking. I don't know about anybody else. I learned a lot. I was always told, mind your business when adults talking, but I learned a lot of things and were taught a lot of things listening to the adults have conversations in the public space. Right, there was time where hey, adults are talking, y'all go in there and play, whatever. But you let them listen, let them sit down, let them hear, grandma talk. These things build more memories than letting them grab their phone and zoning out. They learn how to listen to you more when they interact with you more.
Gaddy took mine with the games because I'm one. Hey, we're gonna play Jenga, we're gonna play Pictionary, we're gonna play charades or whatever, Bleppardy. I got games on my phone like Black Jeopardy and stuff like that. And you have fun, you letting your hair down, nobody's sitting up there stuck up. Everybody has to team up and have a part in it. But also with the kids, I like to do things like cook. Like, hey, we gonna cook this. We gonna make some cookies. We gonna, like Gaddy last week, he was making a cake. We gonna do something where your hands and your mind is incorporated in whatever we're doing, and nobody's here to we'll roast you if you do something silly, but it's all in love. We're not making fun of you to where it's a bullying tactic, but we just laughing if you make a mistake, because you got to get over that, because you're gonna make some mistakes in life, and you got to be able to laugh at yourself also. So I say the games and the cooking, or just anything that's interactive where we all interact together, where nobody can just sit back and have their arms folded and be mad at the world because they don't have their cell phone.
Got it. All right. Well, this takes us to our bittersweet moment. As always, we thoroughly enjoy spending our Friday nights with you. But at this point, this is where we move into our final thoughts. And that being said, we're going to start with Brother Chris, then Brother Gaddy, then Unc with the Funk, and with Ro, and then we're going to close it out with ourselves. So that being said, Chris, you have the floor, sir.
I learned a lot today. Wow, I did not know that this was actually a thing. I did not know that people went broke during this time of year trying to provide a fantasy Christmas or a perfect Christmas that they have in their head. I did not know this. This is all new to me. So now I know what not to do. Like I said earlier, I'm probably going to watch this episode back and take some notes because I don't want to keep the same cycles going. But if I were to bottom line it, I would say, if you can, just disconnect and actually move in the real world. Like, go see what the real world is like. You understand what I'm saying? Because just you'll see that it's not as bad as what the digital media will portray it to be. So I guess that's my final thought.
I don't know why I always had trouble getting to that mute button. It's simple for me. I think we have to find a way to build more memories with our kids and with our family all year round, right? Find ways of staying connected to each other, in a more personable way. Find times to show people. Don't wait to someone's birthday just to share love with them. Don't wait till a holiday to share love with people. Let's make this a part of our culture. Let's make lifting each other up, loving each other, hanging out, playing games, going for a walk or a run. Let's just make that a part of our life. and then we won't be looking for memories to make. Sometimes I think that that's a part of the idea of inflation, to keep you working hard to afford basic life, so that you're always busy, that you have to use these times to get together. And if so, that's then I get it. But let's bring value back in just togetherness. That's my whole take. Release the stress.
We have to remember that during the holiday season, there are a lot of different thoughts that go through people's head. For everybody, well, first of all, everybody does not celebrate all of the holidays. For some people who do celebrate, this may be the first, second, or third time, or this may be a memory of how many Christmases or Thanksgivings that they haven't spent with a loved one. So it may be a reminder. And with all of those and other things, with work and life in general, trying to keep up with other people, there can be a lot of pressure that comes along with the holiday season. Um, my quick thought is about, I think one of the things that we need to do to help some of that is to try to think about the connections that we have with those people in our life who mean something to us. And I guess what I want to kind of say is about being present in the moment. So when you're when you're around people during the holidays, be present, be in the moment, So I guess what I want to end with is, for this year, I guess, with all of this, I don't know, I kind of stumbled over my words a little bit, but I guess I wanted to say, just kind of be present in the moment. If you can't give anything else, give your time and give your presence when you're interacting with people. And if you do that, I think your holiday season overall will just be better. So if nothing else, give the gift of presence, not presence. SENT. There you go, man. Cut me off. Go to somebody else. I'm getting my words mixed up. Because I had it and then I switched.
Presence with the C. Anyway, mine is short and sweet. Don't go broke trying to look rich. Don't go spending money that you don't have about things that people to buy things that people don't need. Your purchases don't mean that you love someone more or less. Spend time enjoying family. If y'all gonna get together, if y'all gathering, make sure you have a time frame where no devices are there and you all can sit around and talk. And don't shut the younger people out and say grown folks are talking during this time, because they want to be heard, because their concerns and cares are just as important as yours also. So make sure you get that family time in, because once it's gone, you don't want to have kids that don't want to come home. You don't want to have kids that say, okay, well, we'll be there for this time frame and then we out. No, you want your kids to come on you and things of that sort. You don't want to just call mama, big mama, whomever during those times. Don't make those times the only special times that you have. Make it to where they're looking forward to the next time. And make sure you don't look for New Year's resolutions, but you have a daily resolution to be better. You have a daily resolution to say, I'm going to be better than I was on yesterday, and I'm going to strive to be the best that I can be every day, and have those accountability partners in your life that hold you to those standards and not the standards that you had before.
I greatly appreciate everything that everybody said. My brother Gary Link over on LinkedIn, he mentioned a few minutes back, he mentioned FOMO, the fear of missing out. And a lot of times that's what we end up doing. We don't want our children to miss out, all that other great stuff. But here's the thing that I've learned that we neglect when it comes down to the fear of missing out. We should have a fear of missing out on the time that we currently have with our children while they're still in the dependent zone, while they're still dependent upon you. You should fear missing out time with them. You should fear not creating the necessary memories with them while the opportunity presents itself. Because when they become adults, they get to choose how much of that time they get to spend with you. Don't get to the point to where you're longing to spend time with them as adult children, but they're choosing not to. Right? Make again identify what's more important. People are way more important than anything that you can go to the store and buy. Spend time making memories. Spend time having meaningful conversations. Like talked about previously, play games together. You know what I'm saying? Laugh, have fun. I used to when I was in the army, I'd come back and I would little dance videos. I get out there and dance with my kids. I did not care making myself look like a fool as long as they were enjoying the time and having fun. I think that's important, right? I did not, look at it from the perspective of, oh, I don't want to be embarrassed or whatever. Who cares? As long as they were enjoying themselves, I was in there. And I think that's what we have to do. Look at enjoying time together as a unit, as a family, not simply by buying a present. Say, "Oh, look at what I did." That's all of that stuff is meaningless. So that being said, as always, I want to make sure I thank each and every one of you who are on the panel. I want to make sure I thank each and every one of you who are with us tonight. Again, we tend to talk about things that are meaningful and things that help us grow and progress. I want to thank everybody across all the platforms that joined us. And again, shout out to my boy Antoine Lyons. Good to see you, brother. I want to make sure that I am that we are being transparent, being honest, and making sure that we are trying to lift up the community. That's why we do what we do every Friday night, right here at 8 p.m. on the Hearts of Men podcast. So again, thank you guys for coming out. Blessings to you. Have a great rest of your day. If you are part of us tomorrow, in fact, it's still open. You can join us tomorrow morning at 10:30. By all means, go jump on, click the link, get your ticket so that you can be available because we're going to be talking about knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That being said, again, have a great rest of your evening. Have a phenomenal weekend, and we'll see you again here next Friday at 8 p.m. on the Hearts of Men podcast.